lost mine in the sand. Where will you stand?
Just when you thought it could not get any more confusing in the land of Israel, Hanok, it just got more confusing. So, from
Astounding.
your comfort area there of Iowa, how about telling us all
Okay.
that's going on? Unpack this for us.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, I know.
Just as I got through explaining to many people that unfortunately Israel was not declaring sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, now already, based on the amount of messages that I've received during the night, I have to explain to people that Israel is not reclaiming Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu, against the advice and best assessment of our chief of staff of the IDF, has decided that we are going to conquer Gaza.
Okay.
Now, now notice I did not say restore Gaza, reclaim Gaza, resettle Gaza. No, no, no. We're going to conquer Gaza. So that has no reference or relevance to the idea of reestablishing Jewish communities. That's not going to happen. I still tell people it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
You know, because that is, I mean, this is going to be bad enough. I cannot see, I mean, we've all seen the videos of our starving hostages. So that is jolting in and of itself. And then you look around, let's say at the Western European powers, and no one cares. No one cares. No one says, oh my God. No one talks about freeing the hostages. So the question is, what is conquering Gaza going to mean?
Yeah.
Are we going to destroy more buildings? The longer our troops stay in that snake pit, the more chas v'shalom, God forbid, will die.
Yeah.
I I I struggle with trying to figure out what we're doing now. Now, there was a leak from someone in the American government that stated that there are people, whatever that means, in the administration here in the US who believe that Netanyahu is doing what he's doing to prolong the war so he can stay in power, excuse me, maintain his coalition
Yeah.
so he can stay in power.
Yeah.
Um, as I travel and speak more and more and more, I'm coming across people who have basically, I would say, a sort of top line of the news, usually a couple of days late. Um, Someone came to me and said, I heard that you that there's now prayer on the Temple Mount. I mean, for the first time the other day, we've been doing that for a year,
Yeah.
full-blown prayer. Okay, so Itamar Ben Gvir led the prayers, the tefillot. Okay, great. Okay, so that's something different. Netanyahu still denies it.
Hmm.
Deny. He must have learned that from Bill Clinton. I don't know. Um, One thing that's disturbing is I continually come across people who are extremely well-meaning and
Yeah.
desperately want to support Israel.
Yeah.
And then they approach me and they say, I'm giving money to this ministry. So this is an American Christian ministry because supposedly this ministry is rebuilding the homes in the Gaza envelope for our citizens.
Yeah. I see the commercials.
Guys, that's not happening. Homes that are being rebuilt are being done by our government. not by a Christian ministry.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're Christian, but because we're not taking private donations for that. That's not the way it goes. Other people tell me they name organizations and ministries that honestly I've never heard of. Never heard of them. They do, quote, good works in Israel. My recommendation in general is that people donate to Israeli organizations, that they turn to people like you, Mike, and they say, listen, I've got whatever it is, $5, $10, $100, $1,000 that I want to give to Israel. What would be a good group?
Yeah.
Where should I direct it? Ask people who know, who people you trust.
Mhm.
Don't just send money.
But your statement of well-meaning, um, there's a lot of well-meaning out there, but well-meaning doesn't necessarily get to the right place.
Not at all.
And these commercials, I mean, I cannot. I've gotten to the point that I cannot even turn the volume down and allow it to just go by. I have to just stop it and fast forward. After the 3 minutes that they go on with their lies. And it's great that people want to do this. Um, I find right now the recent media barrage to be very mixed emotions regarding this.
Yeah.
All of the things that they've been saying, about the Gazans, and we know about the child that doesn't is not starving, and
Yeah.
you see somebody that's extremely overweight in Gaza, they're not starving. You see the children with their little the little bowls out trying to find to get a teaspoon of soup. Uh, is there starvation? Is there hunger in Gaza? Yes, but this is not the fault of Israel. I hear on the news over and over again, the Hamas organization has reported that 100 people were killed yesterday trying to get food, and they don't say, well, first of all, they don't say, well, and Hamas has never given us a right number in the first place. They don't
Yeah.
say, and these were killed by Hamas terrorists.
No.
They allow it to be assumed that these were IDF soldiers. They're sitting up on top of their tanks or wherever and are just picking off at random
Yeah.
so-called innocent civilians. That is the narrative that continues on. And this one with this
Yeah.
this man who is in a tunnel. He's trying to count the days, and I don't know how. I question this one. I question everything that comes out of Hamas.
Yeah.
If you're in a tunnel, you don't have the what is needed to count the days off, which is called sunshine. So I'm questioning some of the things that are coming even out of that, but this one tends to have gotten a little bit of when it appeared he was having to dig his own grave. It appears
Yeah.
that this has gotten a little bit of traction, but in the end, the reason that he is there in a tunnel being told to dig his own grave is Israel's fault.
Yeah. And with the rise of such open and violent Jew hatred in America, people say, well, when the war is over, things will go. No, no, no. Things are not going back. There is a narrative that has crept into people's minds. And all of a sudden, you start seeing all these conspiracy theories. Jews were behind World War One, Jews were behind World War Two, Jews were behind 9/11, Jews are behind. I mean,
Yeah,
it's astounding. Now, in the midst of all this, you have the UK, Canada, and France, and it's likely to be others saying that they are going to recognize something called a Palestine in September. And what's incredible is there are no borders And if they're referring to Gaza, Gaza's already been independent for 20 years. 20 years this past week.
Yeah.
It's astounding, and it's again, I remind people, I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone hated Jews.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it. I'm not used to this all pervasive that everything in the world, and part of the reason this war has dragged on so long, and I reminded someone the other day that October, excuse me, is what are we talking about? 7 weeks away, 8 weeks away? It will be 2 years.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is the political echelon in my country is busy doing the hokey pokey. We're delivering aid, we're not delivering aid, we're going to turn off the water and electricity. Gaza still gets free water and electricity.
Yeah.
We Israelis have to pay. Gaza gets it for free.
Yeah.
It's astounding. It's a no-win situation. And I've stated before on our Israel updates that my government has no plan.
Yeah.
There's no end game. In theory, release of the hostages, disarming of Hamas, and Hamas leaving and not being in political power in Gaza. And in the back of my head, I hear, if you wish upon a
Yeah.
star,
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I want to move back. You said a couple things there that I want to bring
You,
out.
list of
Um, One of them, you can't put this Jew hatred back in the box.
no,
Okay. Now that's where it has appeared it was at for a while,
yeah,
but it was always the box was, I would say the box was kind of the top was always open. We
yeah,
even saw here in Franklin the other day a mutual friend of ours that went on Facebook, was going to buy something on Facebook,
yeah,
and because of the person that was selling an item looked at this person's Facebook profile, found
yeah,
out they were a Zionist, lover of Israel. Because of that, wrote a horrific letter saying, we're not selling anything to any whatever, pro-Israel person. Well,
yeah,
this person wrote another letter back to them and then blocked their post. So that was good. So this is Franklin, North Carolina,
yeah,
that we're seeing
yeah.
something like that. But the other thing I want to bring out is you said something that I think kind of goes over the head of the vast majority of people that cannot. I don't have a box really to put this in. I've had to study on my own to understand the statement that you just made. And the statement is, I grew up in a neighborhood in which everyone hated Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, now you might have a person might have been bullied on a playground, but to live where you were, and I think this is an insight that I've had behind your back conversations on with people. I'll admit that you probably know about these, but uh, people don't understand who you are,
No.
what you lived through. You have been there when I have spoken, and I've told you when I've spoken on issues like this, when I've
Yeah.
spoken on the trail of blood, the anti-Semitism. I've told you, listen, I don't care if you're not there today, because I bring out the things that so-called church fathers said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the reason for Shabbat is because the Jews were lazy. The reason for the dietary laws is because you had a underdeveloped digestive system from your evolutionary path. Stupidity upon stupidity.
Yeah.
I can't, even with the amount of study I've done, I cannot understand where you were and therefore how you continue to be in places that you are is still is something I don't think I would have ever been able to do that.
Well, thank you, but it's actually hard for me to convey um, the sense of urgency that I feel
Yeah,
as I travel. I mean, I've been in all kinds of places. Um, and what's interesting about this particular speaking tour is I have seven new congregations, seven new groups that I'm speaking to.
mm,
And even though, like here in Iowa, I'm encountering people that I met back in 2016. Um, the 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 sand. Okay, anyone who's ever seen The Wizard of Oz, there are many scenes in it that like, oh my pretty. But think of the hourglass.
yeah.
The hourglass has been turned over, and those sands are running down. This is a time urgency. When I come across people who say, you know, I may go to Israel in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, we'll see, and it's like that attitude's never going to get you to Israel. When I plead with people to send an email to their elected representatives, when you look at the pro-jihadis who have infiltrated just about every school board across America, when you've got elementary school boards passing resolutions on behalf of something called Palestine, and jihad and anarchy are coming to America. They're already here,
Oh,
guys.
it's already here. I love your analogy, by the way. I'm just kind of trying to, I don't really watch The Wizard of Oz anymore because I just
No, I
don't,
don't either.
it's just
It
like
scares
weird
me
now
still.
because it is this actually a mockery of scripture in my opinion. But as you're talking about the hourglass being turned over and Dorothy's in there and she's waiting for somebody to rescue her, and I'm kind of trying to think of myself as, am I the one with no heart, no brain, or no courage, or maybe I'm Toto. I don't know. I just, you're just trying to do something.
Yeah,
And you know that, you don't have what it takes to equip you for that job. And you have to rely upon one who is greater than us all.
yeah.
Without that reliance, I'm about to teach my Living Torah. We're doing this a day early, of course, so I'm going to do my Living Torah program, and I'm actually bringing some of these concepts out in that. But we have to be relying on that the one who made the promises is the one who is going to bring forth the promises. And
Yeah.
each of us, we may figure, we may along the way think, I don't have the courage for this. I don't have the heart for this. I sure don't have the brains for this. But I know the one who is able to bring us to the end of this.
Yeah, and it's a sense of and I'm gonna mangle the quote. I think it was Patrick Henry, something about it. If we're not, again paraphrasing, if we don't hang together, surely we're going to hang separately.
Yeah.
And when a congregation in Des Moines rescinds the invitation for me to speak because, as they put it, they were concerned about reprisals for providing a platform for a Jewish speaker. Now, again, pause for a second, run that back, and listen to the Jewish speaker. Wasn't an Israeli speaker, wasn't a fanatical Zionist speaker, and, guilty as charged. It was a Jewish speaker. And when you think that you can hide it's coming your way and about to knock at your door. And it's that famous quote from Pastor Martin Niemöller,
Yeah.
about all everyone that they came for first. And then when they came for you, there was no one left to speak up. So, you're making your bed, you got to sleep in it, guys.
I'm just thinking that, of some Jewish speakers then that would not be allowed to be, and this is, you mentioned this group in Des Moines, but the truth is, Hanok, that this is widespread.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about just one place. We're talking about many, many places that have the same concerns. I'm gonna kind of let that into the same concerns, which means that there are a number of other people that would not be allowed to speak in that congregation. Let's go with John, who was on the Isle of Patmos and wrote Revelation. Let's go with the disciple Peter, or the half brother of Yeshua, James or Yaakov. Let's go with the apostle Paul. Let's go with Yeshua himself.
Again, we come back to that famous quote: don't confuse the issue with facts.
Well,
And
Hanok,
yeah,
as I said, I'm going to be teaching this in just a few minutes. I I find myself through this last series of uh, of news propaganda that came out of Gaza. I find myself at times weary. I would imagine you do. I looked this morning
yes,
at. I'm very thankful right now. My prayer request for my time of prayer in the morning for protection of those that are in Gaza is down to one soldier. Everyone I know, except for one soldier, is out,
yeah,
which means I pray for their emotional and spiritual healing.
yeah,
But I saw this just before we came online, that over almost 60 soldiers since 2023 have taken their own lives.
yeah.
What is not, it's kind of like in the United States. I can't remember what the stats are, but it's like one every many, many. I wish I'd looked at the stats. I wasn't planning on saying this. How many Americans, veterans, are taking their lives on a daily basis?
Yeah,
That people, when you come back out of war, you don't just get over the next day.
no,
And Israel civilian or IDF, IAF, everybody has been at the point of traumatized. Uh, I, you know, I don't, we can't understand what that is. I can't understand what that is
yeah,
being here.
yeah. Just yesterday afternoon, as I was being driven to the lovely family that's hosted me last night, my phone went
Yeah.
off with the early warning.
Yeah.
It's just, and people say, well, that's the Houthis, that's not a barrage of 50 ballistic missiles. It's one, maybe two, three. It's ongoing. And, I guess to a certain degree, I kind of feel a bit like, Paul Revere. Things are going, come on, guys. And it's like, people sitting back in a rocking chair, kind of going, okay, I'll get to it.
Yeah. Well, it's just one ballistic missile coming in from Yemen. But how would that feel if you looked out the window and saw your children on the playground?
Yeah,
Well, of course, we in 99.9% of the missiles have been, whatever the number is. That's a fake number I just made up.
yeah,
Have been intercepted. Only 0.1% got through. Yeah, that sounds good unless it hits your children
yeah.
in
And
your backyard.
and sadly, we're not able to hit that percentage.
Yeah.
Um, During those 12 days with Iran, it got up to 16% of the missiles we're getting through. 16. It's only the miracles of Hashem that prevented more fatalities and casualties on our side.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we've got a lot of work ahead of
Yeah.
us. Um, People are already talking to me about coming back in January and February. And I figured, after braving the snows of North and South Carolina and escaping a storm in Virginia, yeah, I can go pretty much anywhere.
There you go. Yeah. Well, you're heading to the one of the most beautiful places in all of the United States outside of Montrose, and you're
Yeah,
gonna. I would imagine you're going to be seeing some good friends of mine. So,
I'll be in yeah, Western Colorado, uh, on Shabbat in Fruta, and on Sunday in Montrose. Um, and then after that, I go to Ron DeSantisville,
ooh,
Florida.
down to Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So hopefully someone will put me behind the wheel of a car and there'll be a bunch of demonstrators in front and I can just plow through them. So hey, I'm looking forward to it.
okay. The only wheel in the car that we're going to be putting you behind is I don't know if you remember the oldest one of those old car seats that the child sat
With the little wheel.
in the passenger side and had a fake wheel.
Yeah. Yep.
That's Mr. Hanok.
Okay. Uh Things are happening, guys.
Yeah,
Time to get into the game.
there you go.
All righty.
All right,
Mike,
take
have a
care.
great one. Talk soon. See ya.